Can I reuse a CO2 tank? Well, we have to ask you first and foremost, what do you mean by reuse it? Is this a, can I reuse it where when the CO2 is all the way gone, I can actually go get it filled and reuse it again? Yes, you can. Does it mean, can I, when I have a full tank, can I use it and then only use part of it, but then use it again later on? Yes, you can. However, this gets tricky because you don't know how much CO2 is left in the tank. Now, the way to find out is either calculate how many seconds of CO2 you actually used if you're using special effects side. This video may be for multiple customers. So with that said, if you're on a special effects side, which means you need liquid CO2, other ones in a minute, yes, you can weigh the tank or you can calculate how many seconds of CO2 you used. Weighing the tank is gonna be the most accurate. The number of seconds, it's kind of accurate, but temperature and humidity, more so temperature, is going to dictate difference. Higher temperature, you're gonna have less liquid CO2 and you're gonna get a less runtime out of the same tank in the same setup at a lower temperature area. I know that's a lot of information. So with that said, now, if you have a regular CO2 tank or you're using these CO2 tanks for anything else than special effects, it's hard to calculate the runtime because it's gas. You have liquid in it, which you can still weigh the tank. Put the tank on a scale, and when you weigh it, you wanna look around the neck of the tank. It says TW or tar weight, or it literally has a weight with a pound sign or LBS. If you're in the United States. Now, when you look at that, you take that number, and you look at it, then you look at the number that's on the scale. The number on the scale, you want to minus the tank tar weight, and that's how many pounds of CO2 are left. Typically, when you have 1 or 2 or 3 pounds of CO2 left, well, you're really running dry, and yes, special effects, you're definitely out on all tanks, okay? You typically 10%, I would say, roughly, is where the loss factor is on special effects. For instance, 50-pound tank, when you have about, 5 pounds left, that's where you're gonna, 7 pounds is where you're gonna run out. Now, again, temperature matters. With the gas, you're gonna have more CO2 than that. Your tank runs out when there's literally no more CO2 blasting out. But again, where this comes into play is going to be also on that side of just the gas tank, where and what pressure do you need the CO2 to come out at? Because let's say you have 1 pound of CO2, let's back up. Let's say you have CO2 coming out of your tank. I don't want to limit us here, okay? Well, if you need CO2 at a higher PSI coming out than somebody at a lower PSI, the higher PSI is going to run out of the same tank first than the lower PSI, because the tank slowly loses pressure as you get less and less and less CO2 in it. So you kind of catch my drift here on exactly the setup and the ideology that's going on here, the technicalities, if you will. So with that said, it's very hard to determine when you have an empty tank. Can you reuse the tank? You can. Okay, you can reuse it as much as you want until the CO2 runs out, and then you can go get it refilled and reuse it again. Now, with that said, if you have your own tank, you can get that refilled or you can trade it in for another tank. So quickly put, can I reuse my CO2 tank? The answer is yes. I know that's a lot of information. If you found more value in this than what was expected, go ahead and like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let us know what size CO2 tank you have and how you're using it. We love the feedback. Thanks for watching. This is CryoFX.